05:17 local time. The sea is flat glass, and out here that kind of stillness is never really calm. Deep inside the Combat Information Center, a single tone slices through the electronic hum. Not loud, not urgent, just wrong. The kind of wrong a trained ear catches before the brain even names it. Phase 1, the first sound. A sonar operator tilts his head. The trace on his display isn't noise, isn't biologic. It's narrow, focused, moving with intent. New contact, bearing 279. On the bridge, nobody reacts. Not yet. For a moment, the contact just drifts, passive, almost curious, the kind of ambiguous return that makes a man doubt himself for half a heartbeat. Then the signature changes. The water around it begins to churn in a way only one thing does: cavitation. The operator doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't need to. Contact accelerating. Another console lights up. Speed climbing fast. Too fast for drifting debris, too fast for anything natural. The line sharpens, compresses, becomes unmistakable. The watch supervisor leans in. Classify. A pause, half a second, long enough for everyone in the room to understand what comes next. Possible weapon in the water. The captain's eyes never leave the horizon. His voice stays flat, controlled. Mark the contact. Steel shutters slide open along the forward mount, not all the way, just enough to show the ship has shifted posture. On the flight deck, a crewman freezes mid-step, a tow bar hanging inches above the deck. Nobody speaks. Below, the picture resolves completely. This is not a drill, the supervisor says. Weapon release confirmed. The contact has separated from its point of origin. It's no longer drifting. It's running hot, clean, purpose-built. A torpedo, cutting a shallow track that keeps it fast and hard to shake. Aimed, not searching. Track steady, sonar reports. No wandering that matters. In the CIC, hands move faster now, still without panic. A timer appears in the corner of the main display. Time to closest point of approach, measured in minutes. The bridge phone rings once. CIC to bridge, inbound torpedo track, bearing 279, speed high. Nobody asks who fired it. That question can wait. The captain nods once. All stations, condition 1. The shift through the ship is instant. Watertight doors seal. Systems flip from standby to live. Ahead, the carrier holds course, massive and unhurried, as if unaware of the death racing beneath its hull. If you've ever felt that gap between what your body senses and what your training tells you to do, that's the room right now. Steady hands, racing minds. Phase 2. The hunt closes in. The torpedo's signature grows louder, more defined, riding layers of water density with real precision. Guidance active, sonar reports. It's listening. That's worse. A listening torpedo is thinking. The solution doesn't change on the plot. The weapon has chosen its prey. Closest approach in 4 minutes, someone says, and no one answers. Above, a jet blast deflector groans as the ship flexes under its own weight, sunlight breaking cleanly across the wake, while below that calm surface, something moves with purpose. The torpedo spikes again, a final sprint, the line tightening like a drawn blade. Running hot, sonar says, and that phrase hangs there. Running hot means the weapon believes it's close enough to spend everything it has. On the bridge, the captain speaks again. Maintain course. No evasive turn, not yet. Turn too early and you confirm you've seen it. Turn wrong and you make it worse. A junior sailor in CIC swallows hard, eyes locked on numbers that don't care how he feels. The torpedo doesn't slow, doesn't hesitate, doesn't miss. Not yet. Time to closest approach, 3 minutes 30 seconds. On the bridge, the carrier's silhouette still owns the horizon, a city of steel moving forward as though nothing below has changed, though everything has. Recommend active sonar, CIC reports, and that recommendation carries weight. Active sonar isn't subtle, it's a shout into the ocean, giving away position, heading, intent. The captain doesn't answer right away. Another update cuts in, weapon maintaining depth, speed unchanged, confident. Go active, the captain says. Below the hull, the ship speaks. A sharp pulse slams outward through the water, and the return comes back almost instantly, clean, unmistakable. Solid return, weapon confirmed. The torpedo answers the ping, not with fear, but adjustment. A minor course correction, still inbound. That single reaction seals it. This is not a dumb weapon coasting on momentum. It is processing, listening, choosing. Countermeasures ready, a voice reports. Launch! Compressed air hisses, acoustic decoys eject and bloom underwater, throwing false signatures into the dark. Decoys in the water, CIC confirms. For one breath, the torpedo's track wavers, a fraction of a degree of hope, then it corrects. Negative effect, sonar reports, weapon rejected decoy. The line snaps back tighter than before. On the bridge, no one swears, no one reacts outwardly. The captain's knuckles whiten for a second, then relax. All escorts execute separation plan. The screen ships peel away in a pattern rehearsed countless times, now run for real, stretching the torpedo's options while the carrier holds its massive, deliberate line. Phase 3, the final approach. Time to closest approach, 2 minutes. The torpedo accelerates again, max sprint, sonar notes. It's burning everything, which tells them something too. This weapon expects impact soon. Launch bubble screen, the captain orders. Along the hull, compressed air erupts into the sea, millions of bubbles forming a shimmering curtain meant to break sound apart. The effect is immediate, seeker degrading, signal strength fluctuating. For the first time, the torpedo truly hesitates, its track bending slightly as if questioning its own senses. It doesn't turn away. It's pushing through, the operator says, still tracking primary. Time to closest approach, 1 minute 15 seconds. On the flight deck, engines spool down, every unnecessary vibration minimized, the ship itself seeming to hold its breath. In CIC, the fire control officer leans forward. Recommend hard maneuver. The last card, and only useful if timed perfectly. Too early and the weapon adapts. Too late and there's no room left. The captain glances at the clock, then the horizon. Stand by. 60 seconds to closest approach. Every system live, every option on the table, the countdown relentless. And somewhere below the surface, the weapon races forward, unaware it is no longer the only hunter in the water. Which is worth sitting with for a second. How much of any fight, at sea or anywhere else, comes down to who realizes the balance has shifted first. Phase 4, turning the hunter into the hunted. In CIC, analysts begin working backward, not through time, but through space. Every bearing shift, every micro-adjustment the weapon has made, gets plotted, reversed, triangulated. Backtrack the launch basket, the supervisor orders. Lines converge slowly on a patch of dark ocean the eye would never notice. Probable firing point narrowing, sonar reports. Another ping goes out, precise, and the return comes back layered and dense, a shape hiding inside the seafloor's clutter. Secondary contact, the operator says. Large, slow, deep. That's not debris, someone mutters. It shifts depth by a few meters, then steadies, trying to disappear. It doesn't work. Contact classified, subsurface, firm. CIC to bridge, second contact. Submarine correlated with weapon launch. No drama, just confirmation. The captain exhales through his nose. Nationality. A pause while databases cross-reference hull shapes, acoustic fingerprints, propulsion rhythms built up over years. Signature matches an Iranian diesel electric class. CIC replies, high confidence. Below, the submarine tries a controlled descent, slipping beneath a thermal layer. Textbook evasion. Going quiet, sonar says, speed minimal. Too late. Launch anti-submarine helicopter, the captain orders. On the flight deck, rotors spin up, chains drop, and within seconds, the Seahawk lifts into the sky and noses toward the datum. Dipping sonar ready. The dome lowers into the sea like a needle. The water answers with a hollow metallic echo, wrong for rock, wrong for wreckage. Contact solid, the helicopter reports, large metal hull. Below, the submarine reacts, dumping ballast, turning hard to slide out of the sonar cone. A trained crew's smart move, but the helicopter tracks it effortlessly. In CIC, two threats now share the screen, the inbound torpedo and the submarine that fired it. "We can't chase both," the fire control officer says quietly. "Priority remains the weapon," the captain answers. "Contain the sub." The helicopter crew adjusts altitude, redeploys, sharpens the picture with every ping. "Submarine maneuvering, erratic," they report. They know we have them, and a submarine that knows it's been found is its own kind of dangerous, unpredictable, capable of firing again, fleeing, or both. The torpedo's countdown drops under 40 seconds, still tracking primary, no break. The submarine makes a last move of its own, dumping decoys, flooding the water with noise and false signatures. Countermeasures detected, sonar reports, and for a moment the picture blurs, contacts overlapping. Then discipline holds. "Hold classification," the supervisor snaps. "Ignore the noise, follow the mass. A real hull can't fake inertia, can't fake displacement." "There," sonar says again. Contact regained, same hull. The torpedo closes inside 30 seconds. 2 hunters, 1 ship, 1 decision left. "Prepare to engage the submarine," the captain says, as soon as the weapon is defeated. No threat in his voice, just sequence. It's the kind of cold arithmetic that makes you wonder how anyone learns to think that clearly with seconds on the clock, and whether you'd want a commander who feels more or one who feels less in that chair. Phase 5. 2 kills, 1 silence after. The torpedo track flashes amber, final approach. Weapon inside terminal envelope, the last neutral phrase before violence. Launch counter-torpedo. Deep inside the ship, a tube floods, pressure equalizes, and a second shape enters the water, shorter, faster, built for one purpose: kill the hunter. It ignites almost instantly, ripping through the bubble screen, locking onto the incoming threat with a guidance logic that allows no deception and no doubt. Counterweapon active, high-speed intercept. On the display, 2 lines race toward each other, the geometry brutal and precise. The inbound torpedo's seeker flares, suddenly aware it isn't alone, and jukes at the last second. It doesn't matter. The counter-torpedo adjusts faster, closing, then the screen blooms white. A shockwave rolls through the sea, a dull thump felt through the hull. The inbound track vanishes, replaced by scattered noise and drifting debris. "Kill confirmed," sonar says. For half a second, nobody speaks. Then the supervisor nods once. Primary weapon neutralized. The captain doesn't react outwardly. His eyes are already on the next problem. "Engage submarine," he says. Cleared hot, the helicopter crew answers, banking over the last firm datum. The sonar picture is sharp now. The submarine is still there, slower, heavier, trapped. Descending, minimal speed, trying to hide beneath another layer. It won't make it. Weapon away. A second object drops from the helicopter, cutting cleanly into the sea, arming almost immediately, diving deep, listening as it hunts. Below, the submarine turns hard too late, dumping ballast, changing depth in every evasive maneuver its crew ever drilled. Maneuvering erratic, sonar reports. They know. The weapon closes with terrifying speed, rejecting decoys, ignoring clutter. The submarine cuts propulsion, going nearly silent, buying seconds. Not enough. Contact lost, stand by. Then contact regained, strong return. The detonation this time is sharper, deeper, final. The unmistakable sound of metal stressed past its limits, compartments collapsing, a structure giving way. The submarine's track breaks into fragments of noise, then stillness. Submarine contact no longer maneuvering, sonar confirms, no propulsion noise. Nobody says sunk. Nobody says destroyed. The Navy doesn't speculate in moments like this, but everyone in that room understands exactly what they heard. Phase 6, after the water goes quiet. The helicopter pulls back into an orbit, sensors still recording. On the bridge, the captain finally exhales. "Resume screen," he orders. "Maintain readiness." The escorts ease back into formation. The carrier, through all of it, never once altered course. In CIC, the data is already being archived, acoustic signatures, weapon behavior, every second of the engagement preserved. This wasn't chaos, it was execution. Above the surface, nothing looks different. Same white wake, same steady speed, aircraft secured and ready, and to an untrained eye, it's just another transit. Condition 1 steps down, watertight doors unlock, and the ship exhales without ever showing it had been holding its breath. On the flight deck, a tow bar lifts, a hand signal completes, ordinary motion made possible by minutes of absolute precision beneath the waterline. Inside, the real work is only starting. Waveforms scrolled back and compared frame by frame, the torpedo's logic isolated, the exact moment it rejected the decoys and committed to its sprint. This weapon wasn't blind, one analyst says quietly. It was trained. Nobody disagrees. The submarine signature gets the same treatment. Propulsion rhythm, hull resonance, the moment it slowed because it knew it had been found. Out here, that kind of data is its own form of deterrence. The captain looks out over the same calm water, the same horizon, but the ship carries something now it didn't carry an hour ago. There's no broadcast, no announcement, no message sent triumphantly across the fleet. That isn't how this works. The message went out underwater, in silence, at speed. One torpedo, launched with intent, was not a warning and not a test. It was a decision, and it was answered. Nobody will ever describe what happened out here with adjectives. It will show up instead as timelines, plots, and signatures folded quietly into training manuals somewhere. A single lesson repeated for the next generation of sonar techs and tactical officers. Fire once, and you reveal everything about yourself in the process. Somewhere, a commander will eventually notice a gap in a patrol schedule, a silence where there should be noise, a report that simply stops, and he will understand exactly what it means without anyone spelling it out. Maybe that's the part worth sitting with, how a war can turn on something nobody announces, on restraint and precision instead of headlines, and whether that quiet kind of ending feels like justice or just feels unfinished. The carrier keeps moving forward, unchanged on the outside, unstoppable in its routine. Flight schedules resume, watches rotate, meals get served, because discipline held when it mattered. And because one torpedo, fired with total confidence, met a ship that does not miss twice, whoever sent it will spend a long time thinking before they try that again.